Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast. We're coming to you live from Cole Creative in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene.
I'm John Popgar for Time Shamrock Communications with Rock 107, Alt 92.1, ESPN Radio.
And...
you keep doing this to me.
Come on, you got to plug that
Yeah,
shit,
you're
man.
right, you're right. I am also the Saturday night host on Alt 92.1 of Alt Natives, which is an hour of all local original music from NEPA. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're here with Ted Wampole, Nate Miller, and Richard Roani.
Roani. Yep.
Of Funkstronaut Productions, who are organizing Funkstronaut Productions. We're organizing the first ever satellite music and arts festival at Mountain Sky in Jermyn, which is this Friday and Saturday. So we ask you to join our conversation about this new event. We're going to be talking about them as organizers. We're going to be talking about the event. We're going to be talking about electronic music in general. So if any of those things interest you, please leave your questions and comments down below, and we'll get to those in a bit. But before we get to the interview, we have some beers to drink. These are provided from Beer Boys in Wilkes-Barre, which is just a few blocks from here. They have 72 beers on tap, including 24 from Pennsylvania breweries. These guys are not only committed to craft, but they support local just like we do. So we're going to actually try 3 local beers tonight that are brewed right here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We have Front Street Wheat by Berwick Brewing, Pimp My Rye by North Slope, and Sippin Time by Benny Brewing. So, and we have one of the brewers right here with us. So
that's right.
I'm sure you can add some extra insight into what we'll be drinking tonight. Should we start with that one?
I think we should. Yeah, it makes sense.
All right.
I probably should pour them and then hand them out, but
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm an idiot, so just be careful with the table. That's going to sound terrible. That sounds awful.
That's scraping. Picks it right up.
Good radio. Good radio.
Yeah, because we do have an audio version as well. So if you didn't catch the live version, this will also be uploaded to YouTube, and we'll also have it on SoundCloud, iTunes, pretty much whatever you can get podcasts. We have a version available for you. But we want you to participate if you're watching live right now.
I opened the wrong one.
That's fine.
All
Just
right,
start
so
with
we
that
start
one.
with-
That's
This is the Berwick
just meant to
Brewing
be.
Front Street Wheat.
All right.
Wheat beer sounds good right now.
Any beer sounds pretty good right
Yeah.
now. Awesome, thank you.
Now this is a German-style Hefeweizen beer with a 4.8 ABV, so pretty easy drinking.
Thank you.
Nothing too heavy like the last episode.
I got real weird.
Yeah, by the end of that, it was like, I am just under the legal limit.
Yeah, then we went to 2 Beer Boys afterwards, and I think I had a...
Thank God for Uber.
Speaking of which, we are now on Untapped. So if you look up NEPA Scene, we have our own account on Untapped where we're going to check in all the beers that we drink every week. So if you aren't Untapped, please follow us on there.
I was there just getting these. I had a beer, and my little picture popped up on the...
Yeah, it's
Screen,
it's pretty cool. Every time you
Check
check it in, it pops up on their screen there. All right. So what do you guys think of this one?
It's good. And you said that these are from Beer Boys, you said?
The crowlers are from Beer Boys.
Nice.
Yes, these are the crowler cans, which are like a growler essentially, but sealed up so it'll last a little bit longer, and probably easier to transport as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's good. This is similar to like a Blue Moon. Oh, well, not really. Kind of.
Oh yeah, it's like that's another wheat beer.
Mhm.
There's definitely got like the banana notes that you would typically see in a Hefeweizen.
You're a
Yeah,
pro here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
I'm
God. 'Cause
obsessed with beer. It's a big portion of my life. So you
We-
got to
we-
know the styles.
we give our expert opinions on a weekly basis.
Yeah, which is essentially we drink enough to be
Yeah,
able
we
to say
drink
that
it
we
and
like
it
beer.
tastes good.
Tastes good.
We also want to give a shout out to one of our other sponsors, which is the Keys in downtown Scranton. This Thursday is their weekly open mic. On Friday is First Friday, so there's a Tim Burton art show with music by Static in the Attic. On Saturday, it's Elephants Dancing, who we saw there a few months back. If you follow us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you've probably seen those pictures, and we did a live stream. Next Saturday, this was interesting, a Back to the 80s comedy show and dance party. So everything that the comedians talk about has to be from the 80s, as if the show was taking place in the 80s. So they can't reference, Tinder or any of that kind of shit that you usually hear from comedians complaining about. This will be a little different, and there's be a dance party afterwards with 80s music. So that'll be pretty cool.
I like that concept.
Yeah, that's next Saturday night. They always have really cool creative events going on there. And the FM Kirby Center is also a sponsor on our site. They have an Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute concert on September 23rd. Stephen Stills and Judy Collins on September 27th. And Matthew West on September 30th. And Fozzy on October 4th, which is not Fozzie Bear. It is...
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but it is Jericho, so which is pretty nuts in itself to have a professional wrestler singing on stage.
Nah, it's Chris Jericho.
It is Chris Jericho's band.
Chris Jericho's band.
Yes.
Man, that guy just made moves. He's
Yeah,
on
right.
VH1 all the time, and just
Yeah.
such a personality now. All right.
He's a smart businessman. you
Yeah.
know? He knows his shit. And you know what? His singing isn't too bad. I thought, I'm looking up the songs when he came out a few years ago, and I'm like, this is going to be awful.
Yeah,
It was
well,
actually pretty good.
I just think about wrestling when we were kids and the music that they made. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard Macho Man's rap album.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's gold. It's gold.
Is it up there with Shaquille O'Neal?
I've heard that one.
Him rapping with he did a song with like RZA from Wu-Tang, I think.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was I think it was like No Hooks.
He puts out like super big room EDM now too. Plays at like Tomorrowland.
Who does?
Shaq.
Shaq does he?
Shaq was awful.
We
Yeah.
we tried to get him for our festival, but it just didn't pan out.
He's probably busy. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, he has many successful gigs coming up, so he's probably charging some high prices.
Yeah,
for what he does.
busy with those icy hot commercials.
Speaking of personalities from the 80s, our friend actually it might have been early 90s, but our friend really wanted to get Little Pete from Pete and Pete at our festival. Danny
Tamborelli.
Tamborelli, you really wanted to get
be
it.
like the master of ceremonies.
Yeah,
Oh,
really.
man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would have been fun.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Because the two Pete's do a podcast together,
I saw that.
which is actually pretty good. That's a fun listen.
Pete podcast?
Yeah, there's a Pete and Pete podcast
that's
out there
pretty
of them
Pete.
as adults now. Like
Wow.
talking about
A lot of P's.
random stuff.
Pete and Pete
yeah.
podcast.
I mean, geez, if you could still milk that decades later, people still remember
Fuck
it.
it,
Why
man,
not?
do
right?
it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But so they're still around. They're still doing stuff. They do pretty regular appearances in New York. Signings and.
Well, apparently Danny's
like
got a
that.
band.
Yeah, he
as
does
well,
have.
yeah.
He does have a band. That's right. Yeah. I've never seen them, but I have a buddy who's like obsessed with Pete and
Punk
Pete.
rock band, I
He's
think,
seen
too.
them.
It's funny that Pete and Pete gets brought up because I was just dealing with the 81 North drive home,
Yeah.
and the King of the Road episode where the dad's trying to beat the other dad to the fishing hole.
Yeah.
It's just funny that we bring up Pete and Pete.
It just popped in your head as you're driving.
Where's Brittany?
She said she wasn't able to make it.
Who's Brittany?
You're right. Who is Brittany?
She ditched us. She had a shoot tonight.
You know where she is right now, don't you?
Oh, where is she?
She's boozing.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
I see
Thanks.
how it is.
Thanks, Brittany.
We
You
got
could be doing that here.
right. We have free booze right here. Ditched us.
Whatever.
So, what kind of musical acts do you have at this event? If you don't have Chris Jericho, that's okay. I'm sure there's plenty of other.
We've
great
got all
stuff.
kinds.
Well, what is the event? It's this weekend.
Yeah, it's called Satellite Ranch. So maybe right away a general public might go, what is that? Who's playing an event
Well,
like
the
that?
reason it's named Satellite Ranch is heavily just based off of solely based off of the location. There's like a nice little indoor building essentially on the Mountain Sky property. where we're going to be hosting some workshops and some VIP acts and other things like that, where the Mountain Sky family lives up there essentially, on that property, in that building. Now, at the venue, you can see, like, when it's dark at night, you could see like all of space, you know, and it's like the more you focus, you're seeing everything that's out there, you know. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I've been going up there for years. Actually, I was at the weekend after our festival. They're having the 5th annual Still Grateful Fest, which all mainly a lot of Grateful Dead music, and that's kind of the background that a lot of these guys come from. And I was invited just through my roommate. Actually, we were invited. Hey, you guys want to come up to the first? So 5 years ago, I got invited up there to bring. Hey, you want to come bring homebrew? You know, and I went up there. It was very small, and I just was really blown away by the atmosphere. And it's just in a part of Pennsylvania there's actually the Keystone Observatory is not even that far from there. It's in a part of Pennsylvania. It's just, you're up in the mountains. You got not a lot of light pollution, and you can just, on a clear night up there, you see the Milky Way clearly. You can see, I've seen some pretty incredible, astronomical things up there. So that was kind of the idea behind the name, you know, which we have to give credit to.
My girlfriend,
his girlfriend
Carmen,
came up with it.
We
were racking our brains, and she was like,
how about this? And we're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was funny how that came out, and then it just played out so well. Shot it to like our graphics guy, and he was just banging out the graphics to, you know, work it out. I was like, yeah, this is exactly the image that we want, you know, heavily focused on the space atmosphere. And I guess a lot of the music there is pretty far out, like space too.
Sure.
We got all kinds. You know, we've got Flux Capacitor, who's regional. I think they're from the Reading area. They're like a jam band. You know, 3 brothers, Mike, Pete, and Jason Sept. They played at the Jazz Cafe tons of times for Tom Moran's shows. Always draw a crowd. Always throw down. They're really great. So, you know, we have some jam like that. Disco Biscuits tribute band that's really awesome. Doing a regular set, a VIP set, and then a few other bands like Funkadelic Astronaut. You know, the focus on the bands more so they're all mostly jam/jamtronica with the influence of electronic music in their jamming. And then we've also got local band Mind Choir to, you know, just spice things up a little bit with some different tones. It's like psych rock type things.
Sure.
And then from that point on, it's a lot of electronic music. It is mostly DJs. It's not all DJs. A lot of these guys are producers too. So they're not up there mixing records together or doing anything like that. They're playing their own original music that they've slaved for hours to, you know, just create the sound design. Guys like Spundos and Agent Zero and things like that. And then that ranges from everything from like dubstep to house, deep house. We've got Costa Ricans from techno legends from Costa Rica coming up for their first United States performance ever. So that's
they're starting their tour off with the Satellite Ranch performance. Which is pretty awesome.
And how do you guys go about getting somebody like that?
Just networking and meeting people, and coincidentally, my friend Yale, who DJs by the name Ralphie Gucci, put a mix up on SoundCloud, and this one guy hit him up and was like, "Oh my God, I love this! It says you're from like northeastern Pennsylvania. I'm from Pittston." And we're like, "All right, let's." He's like, "Let's meet up." You know, I didn't know there was a scene around here for this type of stuff, because every time people think of electronic music, they think EDM, they think the big clubs with the crazy people and everything. We have a focus on more underground, direct people that are there for the music and the vibe, essentially. We met up with this guy Eric, who's awesome, who's just moved to the area not too long ago at that point in time, and he was DJing with us all the time. He started producing his own music and started sending his stuff out to labels. He was signing like Budapest, like Costa Rica, Dubai, things like that, and the Costa Ricans that signed him, Meli Rodriguez, Macho y Perico, he just built good rapport with them. You know, they flew him down there to play because he was selling a lot of tracks through their label on Beatport, making them a lot of money, you know, a lot of publicity. And then, you know, he was like, hey, my friends are doing something cool up here.
They're kind of returning the favor, right?
Yeah. So just, you know, just the way things go, you know, just meeting people, you never really know what's going to happen from shaking hands with somebody one time, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and I would say, like, in terms of our lineup, we were really trying to do that. You know, we wanted to have, you know, some artists that people knew, but we also, our goal was also to introduce people to a lot of things that they've never seen before, they never heard before. You know, that's definitely a big part of what we're trying to do, is to introduce people to, you know, break stereotypes and introduce people to something that they may not have heard before, but hopefully they're gonna be really into, you know.
And Mountain Sky, you know, since they've started throwing shows, it's always been not necessarily pigeonholed, but in terms of you know, like electronic music and stuff, it's something that they've never really delved into. So it's awesome that they're giving us an opportunity to bring a different vibe to the mountain.
Was this something that you needed to kind of convince them on, to like take a chance on?
I've been
something
bugging
like
them for 3 years.
Yeah, that's
I was involved with Mayday Music Festival when I was like 18 years old. I started DJing. I'm only 23, so it wasn't that long. Started DJing, and then got involved with the whole Sector 1 community that was involved with the Mayday Music Festival. I wanted to play the one year. The stage I wanted to play wasn't going to be there, so I was, you know, up their ass, like, let's make it happen. Why isn't it there? Like, I'll do it, you know?
Yeah.
So we got that stage. It was a Freedom stage to run as myself, and I don't know if you guys know Evil B, Phil Benson, with him, and then, like, Nick Miller, and a few other guys like that. And then once Mayday was over, you know, after it was all over, everyone was like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen again, you know, or we'd like it to, but who knows at this point.
Right.
So I was like, all right, now what? You know, so like kind of the next year I was like messaging Mountain Sky. They're like, they didn't respond. And the next year I did, and they're like, okay, you know, we're thinking about things, you know. Then again, you know, same time, hey, just touching base. It's a year later. Please, you know, and they're like, yeah, you know, we're ready to finally give you a chance and see what you guys can do. So we're honored to have that opportunity with them for sure. But it definitely took a lot of like, come on, man.
Well, it was great timing though, because at that point, you know, we had just kind of started really getting to know each other, you know, outside of just running into each other at shows and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The right crew came together to put the Satellite Ranch into motion.
It seems to be a common theme of, and not on purpose, but just of people that we have on the podcast, people who want to see something happen in the area, and they have to make it happen.
Well, yeah,
it's not something that you can wait around for and hope that somebody comes along and just creates something that fits your niche or fits something that you want to go see.
Well, yeah, and it's funny you say, because I was actually thinking about that earlier today. I was thinking about this podcast and, you know, what I might say, and yeah, it was definitely, I mean, that for me personally has always been, you know, one of my main goals in this is like, this is something that I would love to attend.
Right.
So,
yeah.
you know, this is the kind of thing, and like ever since I went to Mountain Sky, I just said, because, you know, it's a beautiful venue, and it's not that I don't like, you know, many different kinds of music, but I just really wanted to say, hey, let's give people a taste of something they may not have had, you know, and do it not on, you know, a huge scale like, you know, Peach size, or Camp Bisco or something, but do it on, you know, a smaller scale that's really focused on, you know, the local scene.
Speaking of Camp Bisco, I think a lot of people around here who are not exposed to electronic music, who maybe don't quite understand it or have never listened to it before, that might be their only point of reference.
And it is. It absolutely
is. It's a poor point of
reference.
Right.
Especially since it came to the area, too.
And people fucking in pools and dying.
The first part might have happened. The second part definitely never happened.
Not here.
Yeah.
Not here.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, camp used to be up at Montage or at Indian Lake Country Club when I was attending a few years ago in New York. I went to like 3 or 4 of them up there. And they had a lot of the electronic music that I liked. A lot of the producers from, England and all over the place that aren't just making like your strictly house and techno and dubstep. Like, these weird, unclassifiable sounds.
Right.
Groundbreaking stuff you'd have to be in like Berlin to like go see, or live in Manhattan or DC,
And this past year was like
the last 3 years.
Other side, yeah.
Yeah, it was all like if you were going to like a bar and just seeing like a DJ playing some like brr, 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 like over the top, like
right.
And I feel like that's one of the kind of catch-22s when it comes to like putting a festival together, is because there's a lot of money that's required to make these things happen, especially when you have a vision, you want to do really cool things, which I think people are going to be pretty impressed with what there is to see up, what we're putting together. And I think it's very easy to get stuck into the situation where it's like, okay, well, if you want to, make the big money, you got to get the names that people are going to come to see.
And that's what we're refusing to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, we really wanted to kind of go the other direction with that and say, okay, and also the focus is like, we don't want this to be a giant thing. We want to keep it,
intimate,
we want to keep it intimate, because we
those are the best shows that you can go to.
Yeah. And that's typically, we know all of us have been to a lot of festivals, and we know that, that's typically, how you get the best vibe is when you have,
you feel like you're involved, you feel like you're part of it, really, not just a patron.
Yeah, you're not just lost in the crowd. You're not just one of thousands,
Yeah, and like then that was like back to like the taste of electronic music in people's mouths with camp was, it used to be super awesome and magical, like with all this groundbreaking music. Then it came to Montage, after it took a year hiatus, came to Montage, and they, threw a lot of things on there. And I'm not saying any of it's bad, a lot of it's just not my scene, and a lot of it does just attract the people that just want to go and rage and party,
Sure.
And not saying that's not a bad time either, but you attract 10, 15,000 people like that, you're going to have some people that are getting a little overboard and doing too much, and they think it's like, it's a party nonstop, and
well, and unfortunately, you're also, when you create that kind of atmosphere, you also get a lot of people who are just going for that. They're not, exactly. There's a disconnect between
the music,
the party and the music, you know what I mean? And that's like, as all of us here are music lovers,
and party lovers.
And party lovers. But we also realize that like, it's all about like, it's not just about your good time, it's about everybody's good time. It's about community, and like everybody, it can be, everybody can have an even greater time if you're all feel like you're part of this community.
And I'm sure the media doesn't help in the sense that they're probably focusing on the negative parts.
Oh, well, that's
what sells
the papers.
Something to be bad and catch that and report
that's
that.
what
wish
everybody.
that they'd write
I couldn't believe some
like,
of the press about Camp Visco before it came out.
I couldn't believe some of the stuff. Some people I know, like not that I like really know well, but some people that are just split in these different subculture of these scenes, like you have these people that are like just Disco Biscuits fans solely, and they don't listen to any other jam band, or like just Grateful Dead fans, or just it's crazy. And some of these people that like a lot of the people, especially in the Disco Biscuits community, do like electronic music. They do. I mean, that is more open minded than most of these scenes. And there's people from other realms of fan bases being like, I can't stand it. Like, I heard there was people spraying super soakers of LSD on the crowd. That's pathetic, and
awesome.
And it was like these are like 30, 40-year-old like women that are trying to like professionals with the business. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that doesn't happen.
Where does this information?
Yeah, where's this coming from?
Like I heard.
Is that possible?
I'm sure it could be, but at the same time,
it's fantasy.
But a headline like "Entire Mountain has a blast" doesn't really
right. Like county makes a bunch of money, like doesn't really.
And that's the thing too, is I think people don't understand that this is a Live Nation owned venue, so it's not like they're gonna let it get to that point where it's like some kind of crazy. Like, there's sex and drugs all over the place.
Yeah, there's not.
Like that,
and
it's to an extent where they're like, we're gonna keep this under control, and
it's definitely calmed down too. I mean, the first year they had camp up there, it was pretty crazy, and it definitely, it was. I remember they had tons of police, dogs. I mean, they were tearing through people's stuff, and I think they got a really bad reputation, so they've calmed down with things. And it's
like treating the attendees like a criminal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and it's funny. I think they've gotten a lot of Peach as well. I think just that mountain. It's a hike. You know what I mean? It's a hike. Even I live across the highway, so for me, it's like it's very easy. But if you're coming from a distance and then you have to deal with all that camping, climbing up a ski slope and everything. And I think it's honestly, I really do think it's a great venue. I have a great time there.
And I still love Camp Bisco too. I mean, I like seeing 6 sets of Disco Biscuits in my backyard.
I mean, for me, I would love to see it, but I think they have kind of realized there that you have to kind of strike a happy medium with these things. You want people to be safe. You want people to, you want people to have a good time. And then there's a way to kind of find a nice, middle point where you're like, you're keeping people safe, but you're also allowing people, because you don't want a police state either. Right. Nobody wants to go to a party and feel like they're being restricted all the time.
Like a public drunkenness on the walk back to the campsite.
Well, the first year, I think all the T-shirts said security, and now it's like it's something
public relations.
Yes,
it's safety now.
Yeah,
safety.
I think even the initial stages of the mountain, it was if they caught you with beer, they took it and then let it get out of here or whatever.
Right.
Now it's they cruise around and just making sure that you're not
not
fighting
acting up.
somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not doing drugs.
I think it's they're like, don't be a jerk and
don't
asshole. Die.
Don't be an asshole. At the end of the day, just don't
get stuck in a mud.
Yeah, don't get lost in the woods.
Which is nice though. I mean, they're there for our protection, but just don't abuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to, it's something like that, you have to realize people are always going to break the rules, but you have to be willing to approach them like, okay, are you going to take the hard line immediately? I mean, obviously there's certain things you can't tolerate, but there's other things you could say, hey, look, treat the person like a human being and say, hey, let's work this out so that I don't have to ruin your good time and you don't have to make me do my job, A
lot of paperwork.
Well, one of the things that I noticed in the description of the festival was it starts right away with intelligent dance music. So how would you define that in comparison to
the EDM, electronic dance music? Sure. Intelligent dance music, I mean, to us, that we didn't coin that term by any means. That's a term that's been around
a long time.
Probably before I was born, when Aphex Twin was released.
90s.
It just refers to the music that, it's dancey, it's electronic, it's got a vibe, but it's not...
You could put it in your CD player at home and relax to it, kind of, sort of. I feel like EDM...
It's not just party.
You're not just... Yeah, it's not just...
Maybe a bit more cerebral.
Yeah,
something that you might have to actually listen to a couple times before you could really appreciate.
I tried to make that trend, cerebral dance music.
But even, then again, I mean, that's the genre thing. It just gets so crazy.
It's good,
Yeah, and people, and a lot of times, we like to promote things that, and we definitely have some artists in there that, we don't want to pigeonhole them into one particular genre and say, oh, this is all they do.
Because they do more than that.
Because they're all over the place.
Right, this is all IDM, or this is all we want to broaden it, That's
And you don't want anyone to feel excluded.
exactly,
Right.
exactly, right.
Like,
we've
oh,
got
well,
some.
this is this thing, and I'm into this thing, so
Right,
you know,
yeah.
You want
Well,
to
that's
definitely.
another thing that I feel like we tried to really focus on was having
variety.
a lot of variety.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and that's one of the cool things, since we're talking about that, I'll just briefly mention, that's one of the coolest things about our silent disco setup, is that we're actually going to have 2 channels going the entire time. So we're going to have 2 DJs. In some cases, you know, they're going to be multiple DJs on one channel, you know, kind of trading off, whatever, and then back to back, and then you're going to have a different channel. And, you know, I got to experience this. We threw a party back in May that was called Blast Off at Backyard. And it was the first time I got to see it and experience it, and I think it was the first time we had a
lot of people.
we had a pretty good crowd coming
Almost
through,
1,000 people in 2 days.
and and it was just awesome to see how people were so into it, and even just the novelty of being able to switch. And I have to say, there were a point, you know, sometimes I was digging one channel more than the other, but sometimes I was like, man, these are both good. Like, I don't know which one to pick, but you know, I think that's another really cool thing that I personally, I've heard of other festivals in Europe. I know there are festivals that are doing silent disco, but I have
in New York too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yep.
Well, there's a AC Beer Fest in Atlantic City does the silent disco.
No.
That's where I first saw it back in 2013 or no 14. I'm not sure they did it before that or not, but it's pretty wild to see because like I don't hear what they're hearing. And they're
It's hysterical.
dancing.
Well,
yeah.
That's another thing. At the ale house when we threw the event, I was working the booth with the headphones, and there was a lot of people coming up, and you could tell, you know, not to judge a book by the cover, but you could tell that there are people who normally wouldn't. But the fact that they were watching a group of people in front of a
Getting
DJ
down.
getting down,
Yeah.
they're like, I need to do it. I have to do it. So.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, on that, like, for the silent disco channels, you know, we've got people playing all kinds of stuff from, like, drum and bass and, you know, even, like, aggressive, like, rhythm dubstep, they call it, you know, and then on the other channel, you might have somebody playing super floaty, nice, jazzy house music, you know, you get to pick, and, you know, there's I think the ones we have that we're renting through Silent Sound System have 3 channels on it. So, you know, there's a potential to fill something in on that 3rd channel for us this year. I was thinking maybe we could even possibly stream the Fish Show in Colorado.
Yeah,
Because the
we were
time
thinking
zone
about
work
that
out,
because you
and
could
then-
do 3 channels. Yeah.
and you might have the people like the musician purists who refuse to listen to like a DJ or something, you know, but they still want to hang out late at night, pop the headphones on. You know, the venue's happy, the neighborhood's happy, Fish is playing, they're happy. You
Right.
know,
Actually,
no promises, but we're thinking about it.
is there more left?
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh, sweet.
There you go. Here, give me. Oh, this is a different one.
This is
Smells like an IPA.
his beer.
Sippin' Time.
This is
Yeah.
Benny Brewing's
Yeah,
Sippin' Time.
Yeah, the grapefruit. You could tell the grapefruit rind peel that we put in there really comes through.
That's more my speed
Yeah.
for sure. That's
Yeah.
That's good.
I like that extremely hoppy, bitter.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of citra and low alcohol
Yeah, what's
and
the alcohol?
yeah,
It's
it's
not
a-
gonna say on there.
it's a good, as I say, it's a Sippin' Time's an appropriate name because it's the kind of beer you can really put back easily, you know.
And it's only a 5%, so
Yeah.
There's a silent disco.
this guy's going for the camera.
Yeah.
Hold on. This is my buddy Nick at AC Beer. This past year. See better not?
It's definitely
and it's funny, all you can
entertaining
hear
to watch
is people like yelling.
Yeah.
as a spectator with
Yeah.
no headphones.
Yeah.
Like, the
yeah.
venue has a noise ordinance. They went through like a whole ordeal with the township just to make sure that all parties, you know, surrounding the venue were happy,
Sure.
you know, and you know, as much as we'd love to keep music, you know, ripping on a banging sound system all night
Yeah.
long, you know, you gotta
Right.
respect the neighbors
Yeah.
because without them, you know, it wouldn't be possible. You know, they could really rally together to.
Yeah,
you
at
know?
least they're allowing it to go till 11. and
Yeah,
they
yeah. So they let us
rally
go. They're
together.
letting us go to 11. So you know, we're like, well, we don't want to just
That's
cut it at
awful. That's
11.
awful
You know,
early.
we're like, I'm used to throwing events in nightclubs where people go from 10 to 2. You know what I mean? And like really like go till 2, like not like I'm winding down. They're like, oh, why'd you shut the music off? You know. So for us to have the silent sound system there, you know, just works very well with the noise ordinance. You know, people love the fact that they're still going to be able to party all night long and still listen to all the music that they want to hear. And it just keeps everyone happy, really.
Well, yeah, and it's cool too because I think it's gonna, you know, this is kind of something that from a creative standpoint we kind of had to figure out a way around that noise ordinance. But I don't think, if anything, I think it's only kind of gonna make this our festival even cooler because we know that, you know, past 11, that's gonna be the spot. So we're actually investing a lot of time.
Unless you're VIP.
Unless you're VIP, right. And then you get to go, if you're VIP, you get to go enjoy, you know, the VIP sets, which will be indoors.
Till 2 a.m.?
Yeah, they can go till 2 because they're indoors. It's a little more...
Smaller sound system.
Yeah, definitely a smaller sound system. Yeah, we got this guy from Assorted Studios, Jesse Landis, bringing up for the main stage. Massive JBL subwoofers. I think he's bringing up 6 of them for the main stage. It's almost like probably double what that than he's usually used to. But with the the music that we're bringing, a lot of those guys, like I said, they're producers. They're focusing on their sound design. They need to be playing loud on a high quality sound system.
Right.
Well, yeah, especially when it comes to certain like bass registries,
Yeah, where the frequencies are so low they don't even hit on some. And this one, they're gonna bang. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. And even if we did keep it going all night, I'm sure a lot of the people camping would be like, "Come on, guys, like,
right.
I gotta go to bed."
There's gotta be a point.
Yeah, like a band playing at like 11 might be like, "Dude, it's 3 a.m. Can't sleep. I gotta get up soon to sound check." Like, yeah. So.
But I like from my perspective, I've been to a lot of festivals. I always like when you have options, So I think it's so cool that you can go, if you want to. Go sit by the campfire and relax, and I can guarantee there's going to be somebody there with some bongos and a guitar playing something, and we encourage that for sure. We pretty much, because of the noise ordinance, we said no renegade sound, side stages, basically no amplified music after that point. Except
there's still entertainment. There's still like, if you're VIP, you have that access, or you have the silent sound system access, or if you just want to kind of like bop around and keep it going, there's going to be people going. Like the vendors will probably stay open pretty late. We even have, like Nate said, like bonfires and things like that. But also my girlfriend is also roping off a whole area where we're going to have professionals like fire spinners. So people that do like hooping and spinning poi and all the flow arts, but on fire. Yeah. Something else to at least keep you entertained at night. Yeah, everything's better on fire, exactly.
And I just want to just one last comment about silent disco. We're really trying to create an environment that it's all in the woods, and we've really been working hard to create an environment that's going to be super cool for people to be hanging out in visually at night. So
right.
I'm super excited myself just to see everything come together.
We previewed a little bit of everybody's hard work last night. Our production lead, Mike Nasser, has been busting his ass. He's been planning this for like the last year, like what he wanted to hang up in there. We finally got to see last night, like Nate, Rich, and everybody's been up there just working hard, hanging up all these crazy LEDs and just.
It's awesome when we got a couple other guys that have worked with Mountain Sky in the past, who have very kindly, they're working with Mike, bringing up a bunch of projectors and LED lights and
if anybody's been to Mountain Sky
been a group
before,
effort.
This is going to be like nothing anybody,
ever.
Even the Mountain Sky, they couldn't even,
Last
right?
night,
Do the one guy that
Woods.
lives up there, he just couldn't believe like, the amount of work that we are, putting into this place, and really hoping that that there's going to be a future for festivals like ours up there.
Yeah, and what kind of drives you guys to do that? Obviously, it's a lot of hard work, and
it's an insane amount of
work. So, like, I mean, I think a lot of things. A lot of times, I ask the question to a lot of people that sit in these couches is why, like, All that hard work and dedication. Like,
so that people like me that want to go to an event like this
have something to go to.
Don't have to drive to Maryland or don't have to drive.
Or don't have to just wait for Camp Disco or, you know, like...
Is it thankless at the end of the day? Like, do you think it's... I mean, this is obviously...
Definitely not, because we're thanking each other.
I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, it's like yes.
Oh my God. I mean, I will stay up sometimes. I'll be like...
Yeah, he was messaging, like, all night. I had to turn my phone... on silent because I wouldn't sleep. Because he's, like, messaging us at, like, 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I think for, like, almost the last, like 4 to 5 months, I've had many little to no sleep nights. And full days, you know, just on the laptop, emails. Okay, get this organized. Do this. You know, and it's absolutely grueling. I'm not going to say that it's fun at all, you know, but after I do all that, like even at the end of the day, like I'll be like, oh, all right, like I sent out all these emails, and then like I talk to some of the guys that I'm emailing, and you know, it's like, oh, great, now that I spoke with them, I'm actually really excited again, you know, so. It's rewarding every day. As we're working towards it, every day is a reward. You know, we're getting closer to it. It's getting to be really real. You know,
it's also, I know, like Teddy and I, like we were more acquaintances than friends when we started this, you know, about a year ago, and you know, it's brought so many people together, like just in terms of and so much talent, you know, so much creativity, because. That's one of the things that I always think, like, going back to what you were saying, like, what you guys were saying before, like, if you want to see something happen, you just have to do it. And that's one of the things I think about all the time, because I feel like this area, northeastern Pennsylvania that we live in, it is just it's rife with potential, you know what I mean? There's so many talented people around here, musicians, artists, just everything, like, and it's just a matter of bringing like-minded people together. And, you know, and somebody having a vision and being, you know, I guess you could say having the balls to take a chance. And because it's a big, you know, it's a risk and it's scary. And don't think that there haven't been moments where we were all like, you know,
oh dear God,
like ready to like either murder each other or whatever, freaking out,
laugh,
like
cry,
exactly. Yeah. But it's just in the end, it's you have a dream and it's
coming to fruition.
Yeah, it's magical to see that come
go
together.
From surreal to
go from
real.
An idea, build an idea up from nothing and make it into something concrete. And it's crazy, Ben. The last few days we've been working like crazy up in those woods and around the grounds, and actually seeing it happen is just
just nonstop. It's crazy, dude.
It certainly makes you have a whole new respect and appreciation, though, for some of these bigger festivals that...
Oh, my God, yeah. The manpower that goes behind organizing it, producing it, like, just doing, like, general... Like, the grooming of Montage Mountain must be a whole entire ridiculous task. Like, you know, organizing that, getting the rattlesnakes out, you know, like, holy shit, you know? It's insane. And then there's a person there to... you know, delegate and hire the people to do that, and then there's somebody to do that, and then there's like somebody handling all the artists and like all the attendees, like that. It's there's a lot of moving parts to this, and definitely have a new level of respect for anybody that produces anything on a larger scale or has attempted to put something together. You know, it's crazy.
Now, is that the idea behind Funkstronaut Productions?
Yeah.
To get everybody together in terms of one mission and one idea?
That's how it happened. We had a secret Facebook group called the Funkstronauts for a long time, where we would just share music with each other.
Because we were getting sick of just group messaging each other all the time. So our buddy Mike started a Facebook group, because then he said, let's start, because there was a lot of similar like-minded people, you know, maybe somebody was going to a show in Philly or New York or something,
carpool,
and exactly, who wants to go to this, who want, you know, and that kind of blossomed into Funkstronaut Productions. And I can tell you, you know, you're gonna see a lot more from us too, because we're gonna have a lot more.
We're already lining some stuff up.
Yeah,
already,
we're gonna definitely.
It's on the back burner till this is done.
Yeah, Teddy's been doing throwing parties at Barton Irby's for years now, and Yeah, hopefully we're just trying to keep building. Hopefully build a scene. We've got a lot of good people.
It's not like it's not like there's a scene to be built. It's just like we just want to like show people like it's consistent. Come out. Think about some of the promoters around here who are ultra successful and are like Tom Moran can book like anybody at the Jazz Cafe, and all those people trust him and take his word for it. And it's always. I mean, it's never bad. It's always a quality player, great musician, you know what I mean? That's kind of our goal, is to kind of like just brand these, parties, get people familiar with it. Like, oh, those guys are throwing it? Well, even if I don't know what it is, hell, I'm going to go check it out because, the last one was sick. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the key, too, is to build a brand around an idea. Like, if you go to the River Street Jazz Cafe, you know what you're going to get, even if it's an artist you've never seen before. You have a general idea if you've gone to a couple of their shows. You know what the vibe's
kind of going to be like before you walk in the door,
Exactly. And they're one of the few venues that still does that still has that left. Because there was a lot of that, I think, in the area.
They're
and
gone.
You see very few, I'm obviously biased, but the Keys is a good example, too. They have a lot of good original bands, and they have kind of their own vibe and their own people and things like that. When you show up there, you kind of have an idea of what you're getting into. But not a lot of venues have that. Not a lot of bars have that anymore.
They definitely don't. And that's really important. That's like almost what's intimidating sometimes. You might go see like a band or DJ or whatever in like Brooklyn, and you're standing in line for 20 minutes with like all these crazy people, and you've never been there before, and you're what's this? Is this going to be awesome? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to suck? Like, And
sure.
We wanted to make it be like where everyone's like, oh, it's those guys doing it? All right, it's gonna be fun.
The one thing that stood out to me about the lineup in general was I just love the names of some of these.
Oh yeah.
So let's start with Newpy Hundo.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
It was like, oh my god, so stupid. We were.
I want to know myself.
We were just hanging out. In high school, friends were like smoking cigarettes, and they were smoking Newport 100s.
Oh, right.
And my one friend was like, "I'm gonna go pick up a Newpy Hundo," and I was like, "Oh, that's got a nice ring to it," I was like, "It's like the way that flows together." And I was like, "Oh, it'll be my DJ name," and I was just completely joking, because I like really. But when it was time for me to start doing stuff, I was like,
I don't have an actual name.
Yeah. So I like put it in for filler. I was like, no, I'll change it, Yeah. And no, it seems to be pretty recognized, and people kind of enjoy it, And even it's funny that people don't know, and I explain it to them. They're like, seriously? like, yeah, I know.
And it'd be different. And you don't even smoke anymore. It'd be different if you had like a Newport like hanging out of your mouth or something.
Now, with this festival partially being part of your work and everything like that, do you approach this show a little bit differently than you would another show at a club or another festival or something like that?
Oh, I would say so. Like I mean the music I've been relentlessly digging for like the years since we were doing this. I've been planning like, what's it gonna be like? What am I like? I'm gonna be opening it up at 3:00 on Friday. And I just want to create something really special, stuff that like maybe I won't get to play at 1 a.m. in Philadelphia or at the other side, or you know what I mean. So it's gonna be more stuff that I really like, that a lot of people are gonna like, and it's kind of like I'm part of the production, so
right.
I'm gonna put my own little blessing on the beginning of it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you don't have to worry about someone saying like, what was that you were playing? Because I don't know if I was into that. I didn't book you to play that.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'm not booked by anybody. I'm booked I booked myself. You know what I mean? Assigned my own writer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely have a lot more in mind, and I keep changing it all the time, getting a playlist of 100 so songs, and being like, yeah, all these ones, and then being like, these next 100 I'm gonna do, and like,
yeah,
it's crazy. So who knows what it's gonna end up being, but it's definitely gonna be something from the heart for sure.
I wanted to just read some of the names just for people who may not be familiar. I just think I think some of them are great, and I want us all to pick maybe our favorite one. purely based on the name.
He's
It
gonna
has
say
nothing
Julian's.
to do with what they sound like or anything else. Horizon Wireless.
Oh, man.
That's clever.
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
Well,
We've known those guys for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, the guy's name is Harrison Waxenberg, and
That's not a good name.
it's I like that name. That name sounds cool. He was like
Not for a DJ though.
yeah,
Guy
right,
with, like,
right.
a
Yeah, it's a
monocle
little,
or
yeah.
something.
he would call like I'm gonna just like switch like the Z around and then was like Horizon. You know, I'm not sure that's the actual origin. That's what I've kind of picked up on it from the years and Verizon. Oh, you know, yeah, it is. It's a good one.
See what you did there.
Yep. Spundos.
Spundos.
Yeah, that was a very nice guy, by the way.
That guy's awesome. His main stage set's gonna absolutely crush.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow people away.
Radioactive Sandwich.
Yep.
Oh,
I knew
yeah.
That was I knew that's the one that grabs everybody's
That
attention.
could be a punk rock band name too.
It could
you know?
be.
Right.
They're gonna really surprise people, I think. Yeah.
They do live production on a bunch of like all kinds of equipment. They're actually going to teach an electronic music production class at the festival
Yeah,
on
with
Saturday. That's open
like
to the public.
a synthesizer,
Analog
workshop,
equipment, modular.
analog
Yeah.
synth workshop.
Yeah, those guys are really cool. I actually just, talk about just making connections. He's just a friend of a friend who I happen to be visiting. And I said, "Oh, we're throwing this festival." And he goes, "You are?" And that was Julian, the one half of the sandwich. And he said, "Take my CD." And we were having a meeting the one day, and we put the CD, and all of us are like, "These guys are sick! Like, we need to get them." And
the music's way more like kind of like with Newpy Hundo and some of these other names. Like the music's way more serious than the name is. You know.
Yeah.
But
they definitely have a sense of humor, though.
for what? Yeah, they call themselves Slice 1 and Slice 2.
Bro, sorry, dude.
No, it's all right. I'll
That's
hook him up.
cool.
I'll hook him up.
Yeah. There we go. Homies
I
helping
would
homies.
help that
I
too.
think I got greedy.
All right, what's this last one here?
North Slope, Pimp My Rye.
I've been meaning to try North Slope
Speaking
for a
of
while.
great names.
Yeah, right?
That's a
You know what
good
the
one.
style is?
This is a
Rye?
German wheat beer
Okay, another hefty.
and
Pretty
some subtle
different than the
notes
other
of
one.
banana.
Like, you can taste the banana. Like, it's not subtle.
Seems like it's got a little more
Oh,
booze
yeah.
than that one.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's definitely more. It has more of that rye, weedy sort of taste to it, for sure.
Yeah, I've actually known the brewer for them for years. Used to have a homebrew shop up in Dixon City, and it's a good dude. He's been making some nice beers too.
I've been meaning to try it for a long time.
That's Rich. Yeah,
Okay.
that's Rich.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he worked.
The other Rich I'm friends with.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he worked. That he worked.
Yeah, he's the brewer up there. Yep.
I've heard they've got some pretty banging brunch too.
The food is. I've only been there a couple times. Their food is pretty good.
Where is it?
Dallas.
In Dallas, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
so
a little bit down the
It's
way
all-
from
it-
Misericordia.
It's not that far, but on Sunday morning when you really want brunch and like a beer or a mimosa, it's pretty far.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's why I've never ended up making it up there because I always want to get up there. By the time I leave the house for Sunday brunch, it's like over.
Like,
Yeah.
It's not brunch anymore.
Well,
Yeah,
I heard that
yeah.
you as a millennial ruin brunch.
Oh, I will always support
Why?
brunch. Okay.
Why?
I don't know. The millennials are blamed for
Absolutely
we're
everything.
considered millennials.
Yeah, no, that's
you know,
gonna be my
like,
next
Technically
thought.
right
Yeah.
on that edge.
But you know what? I still like. I hate the word millennial because
Yeah.
like everyone's
It is
just
a
using
terrible
it. Like everyone just.
I'm definitely not a millennial,
I-
so I have full privilege, and it's
millennials-
practically obligatory that I hate on millennials.
But they're getting
But I
blamed
don't.
for everything. It's so funny. It's so funny. Like,
It's such a
It's
such a
ridiculous.
clickbait headline bullshit.
Oh,
that
Oh
you
my
just
true,
throw
god,
in
yeah.
comments.
Yeah,
I
I
actually
I-
won't
I
click
see
an
it all
article
the
when I see stuff like that.
I saw an
Yeah.
article and it's like millennials are killing the beer industry, and I'm like,
the beer
what?
industry,
How?
Not my millennials.
What?
Yeah.
boobs.
What millennials are they?
I think we just have to realize that it doesn't matter where you go, what the age. Some people just suck.
Yeah. And it's easier to blame everybody. Than
Right,
to
it's
single
easier
somebody
to
out,
just
yeah.
say, "Oh, you're one of those," you know.
Right, it's the same thing kind of relating to that whole Camp Bisco thing. It's easy to just write off that whole thing
Yeah.
because there's a few people that are,
Sure.
ruining it.
Instead of experiencing it for yourself
Right.
and seeing what it's all about.
You have more names?
Oh, I got plenty.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Tractor Bear.
Oh, that's
So that name's based off of because the Disco Biscuits have a set called Tractor Beam. It's like a special set that they do where they don't sing or anything, which a lot of people really enjoy because a lot of people really don't like their singing.
Mm-hmm.
I for one, I like it, but
No,
yeah,
you don't.
yeah, I do. It's funny. I enjoy it. Like not like
it's funny.
No, like the lyrics are funny. It's great. No, I like it a lot. But yeah, so in order for I guess trademark purposes,
Right.
Tractor Bear, and then they're doing actually a VIP set.
Saturday, right?
Saturday night, yeah. The Disco Biscuits have another like set that they do called the Perfume set, where they'll take their songs, which are generally pretty trance heavy, 4x4 kind of like maybe drum and bassy, like all over the place. And these guys will play like what the Disco Biscuits do is they'll play their songs like. They'll take a song and make it a reggae song, or like a punk rock song, or like I think I saw a video of Tractor Bear doing a bluegrass version of a song and playing a song backwards.
Yeah.
So they're doing a set instead of calling it the perfume, they call it the cologne. Yeah, so Tractor Bear presents the cologne. A bunch of dudes that smell really good. VIP.
So millennial, right? Speaking of millennial, laser sex.
Oh yeah,
that sounds like
that's
something
our
millennials
boy.
would do.
That's
Dave? Like, regular sex isn't good enough for them now. Now they're having this laser sex.
Yeah, that's actually our
Damn kids.
buddy Mike Nasser.
fellow Funkstronaut.
Yeah, the guy, our production lead, the guy we've been doing this whole thing with. Laser Sex has been around for a minute. They took a hiatus probably about, maybe a year or 2 years ago. They actually played one of my birthday parties at the other side, and that was kind of like one of their last real shows. But they're Scranton guys, Mike Nasser, Jeff Felkowski. I know him, Tone Quibley on Facebook. Talk about another name. But
really talented musicians.
yeah. They're awesome. They all original music, or they'll take like samples of songs and mash them up all like awesome and fun, real dancey
funky,
stuff.
glitchy, yeah, really interesting stuff, and they put on a good show. And again, that's just another. You're telling. It's funny that you picked all those names because these are some of our artists that are definitely going to be putting on. Some of the
surprising shows.
Yeah, exactly. We don't even know. Like we don't even really know what they're gonna do.
This is their first show since
in a
the
long
hiatus,
time,
so
man. Yeah. And
I don't know what to even.
They've
expect,
featured
honestly.
a few other local musicians when they've had it's mostly the two of them, but like with Mike on bass and samples and Jeff doing samples and guitar.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but they've also had people, I think, like Rich Hartranft drum for them for a bit. I think Angelo Miraglia played keys with them. He's in the George Wesley Band and Suicidio. Maybe did Jacob Cole play with them too?
He was playing drums with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think,
So they've rotated around a bit. It's definitely an NEPA homegrown band that has also been playing at festivals. Like there's another festival. It's kind of in the same vein of what we're doing a few years ago, called the Big Up. Not exactly. I think it was in New York, maybe.
It was upstate, yeah.
Yeah, smaller, low-key
I went to the
festival.
last one, yeah.
A lot of guys like Laser Sex and Splundos and, all playing that, real intimate gatherings. But, like, Laser Sex did that. They played, when Peach Fest first came here for the first year, I think they closed out the stage on Thursday night, maybe. I think so. Yeah, now I think that might have been their last show. Can't tell. But yeah, definitely silly name. Really awesome music.
Yeah.
Really awesome
Yeah.
local band.
Really interesting. Our buddy Mike is a really awesome bass player, so it's gonna get funky.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Look, that's one of the sets that I'm really looking forward to.
I think everybody
I've
is,
only
yeah.
heard their stuff
Because we
recorded.
really have no idea. I mean, he's been keeping it
Walkie-talkie's
very...
going off. I'm just gonna be there dancing,
And he's been keeping it very, under wraps, so I don't think any of us really know. I'm sure he's going to be pulling out some
None of
old
us know.
stuff,
I don't think.
but-
Yeah, we've been hanging out with the guy for days and years. And every day we see him up there too. I haven't heard any of it. I think Brian Dewey, the guy that got us linked up with you guys, said he heard some. And I was like, all right, I'm pretty jealous of that. I was like, how do you manage that? But I'm just going to wait it out. It's going to be awesome.
Sometimes it's better to be surprised.
Oh, yeah. I like being surprised. And
I imagine we will be.
It's almost always better to be surprised. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
just...
the whole point of the festival. You're just going to be surprised,
I think way too many people, and, they get locked into something, and then they, it's like great when you find something you like, and I'm all about listening to stuff that I've been listening to for years, but you got to be willing to like take a chance sometimes, and you're not gonna like everything, but take a chance.
Well, there's a lot of people who will buy a ticket to a show and then show up just for the headliner, and there's so many shows that I've been to.
I've done that plenty
where
of times, too.
I get in, you go early, and you've never heard of the opener, and you're just blown away, and you if you hadn't gone, you would have never looked it up.
We even went to a show not too long ago where the opener, we were all like, that he crushed the thing that we were there to see. We were like, oh, that was just a bonus, but then we said, oh wow, no, that was actually the better.
That's what the Biscuits used to do. I mean, that was like the whole thing with camp. People just went there to go see the band they've been seeing for years play 6 sets. I still know some people that to this day,
that's all they do. Yep.
They don't go see anybody else, but a lot of the other people, they're there for 6 sets. They're gonna walk to go get food from some vendor or something. They're gonna pass by a stage. You're gonna hear something that's like, oh shit, all right, I like it. Just expanding the horizons, man, wirelessly.
Well, one of the things that stood out to me is I'm an Adult Swim fan.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Lord Raja, which,
yeah, man.
Wasn't a name that I immediately recognized.
Most people don't.
But then I heard some of his music, and I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? I've heard some of this before, during commercial breaks.
The bumps.
The bumps and things like that.
Yeah, and they just released a single of his, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
which is
I think it was.
completely...
He puts out new stuff, like, it's almost, every track he has out is, like, nothing like he's released before. He's interesting.
It's cool, because it's kind of become, like, an interesting outlet for electronic musicians that you wouldn't expect. Like, just to
you know what's crazy?
They have whole albums and shows and things now, like, under that Adult Swim.
Right, yeah.
Adult Swim's been a major help in bringing that to the masses, because you'd have your people, you still have your people that just are there to watch, like, Rick and Morty or anything, stuff like that, and they're in the commercial break, oh, here's this awesome music that you're surprised by, and they're like, what is this?
That's their goal as a platform with music, is they know how many people they reach.
So why not
inject it in their
ear
inject that music into the people who normally wouldn't hear it. And they're doing 15 weeks of new MF Doom tracks every week, which is just amazing.
Oh, and I was just going to say, too, Adult Swim is a great example of something that was super obscure, and, a lot of the shows that they were playing, like, that when that got started, they didn't have nearly the fan base that they have now. Now it's, like, exploded, but I remember when that first came out, that was weird stuff, what I mean? It was fringe. It was fringe stuff, and now,
dude, that was it.
And just the fact that Adult Swim is like, I don't like every show. Everybody has different opinions of what they like. I don't like every show. Some of it, I'm like, who made this? Were people like huffing paint when they like made this?
And they're like, actually,
probably, probably yes, they were. But then you realize, like, you gotta have those outlets you got for weirdness. You got to have those outlets for the fringe stuff, and it's awesome to see. I feel like that's a great parallel to what we're trying to do. That's something that went from obscurity to now it's they're teaching people, they're showing people, hey, this is the hot new thing.
Right.
Check it out.
Well, and another parallel is they're not just putting out singles by electronic artists or rap artists. They'll put out a new Doom song, and then the next week they'll drop a Pig Destroyer single, who is like, this grindcore metal band, and
they play like stuff like Tame Impala and things like that.
Yeah, they're all over.
Yeah, it's great. I remember the Adult Swim definitely threw me through a loop when I was younger, staying up watching TV later than I should be on Cartoon Network. Like, what the hell is up with that realty? You know what I mean? Like, the same network as Cartoon Network, So it's like kids show, Adult Swim. You know,
And then you get to hear like the.
I remember I heard I watched home movies when I was like younger after watching cartoons, and I was like, this is still cartoons. I was like, this is a really weird cartoon.
You're like, oh my god, Coach McGurk.
Yeah, it's hey Brendan, you know, like it's like, what is this, you know? And then of course I was a kid. I probably wasn't able to even stay up past like 12. I probably pass out to see all the other stuff. And now they keep all the good stuff. Like 4:15 in the morning. I don't know if you guys are fans like Eric Andre. Yeah. That's that's that thing. I thought that was like the funniest show on TV I've seen in so long.
Whatever.
That show is bizarre. Yeah, that's
I loved it.
Bizarre.
The anti-talk
It's
show,
hilarious.
everything about it, like just like the
It's
logo.
hilarious.
It's like the border of a talk show logo inside of a border inside of a border. Like just like all the details. It's crazy. And speaking of millennials, he's got a new show coming out on Adult Swim, where he's going to be just interviewing millennials on the street, where he just trolls the shit out of them. He just
which is pretty much what he does to everyone.
Instead of doing the whole talk show thing, which I really, really loved that, but it's going to be him just messing with people that look like us, you know?
Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have. We blew through that pretty fast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, it's great.
It goes
great
by
talking
really
with you guys.
Yeah, it's been.
Thank you so much for having us on, man.
You're very welcome.
Been a pleasure.
And
the beers.
Wish
awesome.
you the best of luck with the festival. We'd love to
man.
see stuff like this going on in the area. We hope to see more stuff like this going on.
There will be more.
Yeah, man. We'll keep a watch on your page, and we're working on some stuff once the dust settles after Satellite Ranch.
Once our vacation's over, afterwards, you know.
Right. Yeah, take a little break, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But could you run down the information for this weekend real quick?
So it's September 1st and September 2nd, both days at Mountain Sky Music Festival, or at Mountain Sky Festival Grounds, Satellite Ranch Music and Arts Festival, 63 Steel Meadow Lane, Jermyn, PA 18344. I think.
Sounds right.
It's on Google, you know.
We got a website.
Yeah, we do have a website.
Cool.
Yep, satelliteranchfestival.com. There's still tickets available on there until Thursday at 10 a.m. Tickets right now are $65 for general admission, $130 for VIP, which gets you VIP late night access, a food buffet by Backyard Ale House, and also complimentary alcoholic beverages from the Backyard Ale House during the VIP hours, and a really awesome poster. And then after that's all said and done, it's gonna be $70 at the gate for the whole weekend. All of it includes camping. Saturday only is $40.
Yep.
And if you're carpooling, that's awesome. If you come with one person, it's still gonna be $5 to park your car. So carpool. Think of how awesome the grounds are. Think of Mother Earth. You know, save yourself $5.
And there's you camp with your car.
Yeah, you can get car parking. We got plenty of space up there. It's a beautiful area. We're gonna have disc golf.
Yep.
We set up disc golf. We're gonna have tons of classes, yoga.
Music going until 5 a.m. on the.
There's gonna be an aerial yoga demonstration. We're gonna have live art. We got a bunch of cool local artists who are going to be doing some live art. We're going to have some big art walls up there, so we're going to have live art, aerial yoga demonstration.
That's pretty much it for the most part. And if you're VIP or GA, you know, if you're VIP, we're doing
BYOB.
BYOB,
You know, obviously for 21.
We're doing a early entry tomorrow because we're so excited to get people in here. You know, time is now. It's going to be 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The gates for early entry. If you're VIP, it's free. If you're GA, it's going to be $10 to get in. In the normally VIP only stage, there's going to be just a slew of local DJs and regional DJs that are coming up early. And also Suisadio, which is an amazing local NEPA homegrown group. Angela Miraglia, Ben Travers, very talented, kicking things off for us. And then the party starts on Saturday at 3 p.m. with me.
Sweet.
Friday.
Holy shit, Friday, 3 p.m. Yeah.
I was gonna say, who's the day?
Yeah. I don't know what my days are anymore, man.
What day is it? Huh?
Well, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you same time next week, Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on Facebook. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.